The World Cup draw complete, and I am back from New York. Big thank you to anyone who tuned into the 3-hour show that I hosted on BR Football's YouTube channel. Also, a big thank you to BR for the opportunity and the trust. I greatly appreciated that, and I had a blast. Also, finally got to meet up with Max, good old Macwell, so that was really, really sick. But anyway, let's have some fun. Okay, let's have a blast here, guys. Let's put some predictions in as if the World Cup was happening today. 6 teams are missing, I know that, so I'll make my assumptions there. And it goes without saying, guys, there will obviously be no deep dives on teams, no in-depth analysis in this video. It's all going to be very surface level. We will save that for closer to the tournament when we do our massive preview, as well as redo these predictions when we know all of the teams that are involved. This is just some fun, you know? Predictions are ultimately really stupid. Don't take anybody's predictions seriously, no matter who they are. Now, I was kind of nervous about the groups with 16 additional teams for this World Cup, but they honestly look okay. Please do not entertain the possibility of 64 teams though. Stop it, get rid of that idea. No need for that because that will dilute it way too much. I like the idea of the Intercontinental Playoff tournament has a little pre-tournament primer for the World Cup. You know, different federations getting in on it. I think that's fun. That's how I'll be viewing the Intercontinental Playoff matches. But adding 16 more teams to get up to 64? Nah, I'm in opposition to that big time. Know what I'm not in opposition to? Using SeatGeek to buy tickets, our sponsor for today's video, because now that the group stage schedule is known, you know I want to see that Canada home opener, as well as Portugal versus Colombia in Miami, though I know the Portuguese will be outnumbered there for sure. But SeatGeek has you covered for all of the games. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app with over 70,000 events, from concerts to sporting events, festivals, and more. Plus, they have that buyer guarantee, so it's a no worries process using SeatGeek. I personally love using SeatGeek. I actually used it a few years ago when a friend was in town, hello Russ, to buy some Habs tickets to go see the Canadians. Not a big hockey guy, but you know, we did get a big deal, a great deal. Just look for the green dots and SeatGeek's value ratings from 1 to 10 and boom. So, if you're heading over to the US, Canada, or Mexico this summer for the World Cup, I have a special discount for you. Get $30 off any World Cup tickets when you spend $200. Just use code RABONATV. It works for new and existing users, so hit the link in the description so that code gets auto-applied to your account. Even if you aren't buying right now, so that you have the code automatically added to your account so that you can use it later on. That's $30 off any World Cup tickets after you spend $200 with promo code RABONATV, all one word. So thank you, SeatGeek. All right, so Group A, during the draw, I was saying that this feels like the most balanced anyone can beat anyone group that there is so far, especially since so far it's the first group, but especially since the Path D team could be Denmark, North Macedonia, Ireland, or Czechia. Throw any of them into the mix, and the principle remains, anyone can beat anyone in a given match. Mexico, I mean, they won 2 international trophies in 2025, and yet they are still a bit messy and not trustworthy, at least in the opinion of their fans. Not the strongest we've seen them, but they get to play at home throughout the group stage. I mean, playing Mexico at the Azteca, not easy for South Africa and whoever the UEFA rep will be. I'm going to assume it will be Denmark, though they have the ability to fumble, as we saw in their November window. And then Mexico's other game is in Guadalajara. Korea Republic and Mexico are sharing a group once again, as they did in 2018 and 1998. Without knowing the UEFA side, South Korea is probably the strongest. Mexico have the X factor of playing at home, and South Africa, you can't sleep on them. I'm pulling for Bafana. They handcuffed themselves by getting a 3-point deduction in qualifying and still topped their group with the likes of Nigeria in there. I'm going to say that if Denmark makes it, they finish in 3rd, with the home crowd pushing Mexico into 2nd, South Korea in 1st, South Africa, they just fall short of 3rd into 4th place, but I want them to do well. I hope they do well. Okay, Group B, and if Italy makes it through the playoff, that complicates things for Canada much more. It's unfair getting that as your pot 4 team. I mean, in theory, it complicates it. Italy is a bit weird at the moment, so you don't know what you'll get with them. There's a world where if we get the Canada that plays similarly to how we played in Copa America or in some recent windows with good results against Romania, Wales, etc., with the home crowd. I mean, you could see an upset with this version of Italy, this shaky Italy. You could see it happening, regardless of who comes through in the UEFA spot, which could be Italy, Northern Ireland, Wales, or Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm going to say that Switzerland win this group. If it is Italy, we saw what the Swiss did to them at Euro 2024. Switzerland are just a great tournament team. You don't want them in your group. As for Qatar, even though they're under Lopetegui now, who has gone for a more conservative approach with them to sort of shore up that defense, I don't see them doing much. Canada beat them back in 2022 as well in a friendly. They also just got grouped in the Arab Cup as hosts, my friend. So I see Switzerland in first, Qatar in last, depending on who the UEFA team is. It's difficult, but Canada played really well against Wales in a friendly in Wales recently, beating them 1-0. Even Italy, I could see Canada shocking them, like I said. So screw it. I'll go with Italy as the representative and some home team hype. Canada in second, Italy in third. Okay, so Group C, and this version of Brazil, you could see anything happening between the top three. Scotland showed they can ball. Morocco obviously had that incredible run at the 2022 World Cup. Historic run. Faltered at the 2023 AFCON. And then had a relatively easy qualifying group. The team that finished second in their group was Niger. So what I'm saying is that yes, Morocco is talented and will be good, but they've been kind of untested for a bit. And AFCON will tell us a lot about Morocco this month. They are hosts. They are hosts. Brazil, we all know how qualifying went. Bit of a wreck under Dorival Jr., improvements under Ancelotti, I think, at least for the most part, as they still showed they know how to lose matches recently. Haiti in their first World Cup since 1974, and I do feel bad for them being in this group. I hope they do something. I hope they can get some points, but I think the most likely spot for them is last place. Scotland looking good after qualifying. They've never defeated Brazil in 10 matches, 8 losses, 2 draws, and that most recent draw was in 1974. So that does work against them. Because of that, I think Brazil just gets second, Scotland third, Morocco first, and yeah, Haiti in fourth. But come on, my CONCACAF brothers. These guys haven't played a home match in 4 years and they still qualified. Come on, guys. Again, another pretty balanced group. Every team can beat the other. Path C was the UEFA path you would have wanted, bar Turkey, of course, but the rest of that path is Slovakia, Kosovo, and Romania. Some ballers on Kosovo, though. Zagrova, the two Rachmanis are in there. Rashika, Murici as well. But yeah, I think the United States have got to be very happy with this, as it's very competitive for them. And if they continue their recent form, then they will get out of this group. Maybe even top it. I think that Paraguay is better than they showed against the States in that recent friendly. That's for sure. Australia is always a difficult team. Tony Popovich will set them up to be very difficult to play against. I think that Australia will be good. And if it is Turkey, which I think it will be, they have a very good attack. Their defense can go bust at times, though we got to remember 6 of the goals they conceded in qualifying were in a single match against Spain. But Yildiz, Güler, Aktarkoglu has some danger in him at times. The young man Can Uzun is a nasty talent as well. So it is difficult, but I'd say that the USA with their home advantage finish in first. Just so much momentum at the moment. Paraguay in second, Turkey third, and I guess Australia last, even though that seems wrong. But it's another group where anyone can beat anyone. You can sort of Yahtzee it, shake it up, and jumble them all around, and hey, it would probably still look believable. Group E, Germany shared a group with Ecuador when they hosted in 2006, beating them 3-0, but they are a very different team right now. Ecuador, that is. Ivory Coast don't have a lot in the attack, don't have a lot going forward, similarly to Ecuador, actually. Could say the same about Curaçao even. All of which are probably better defensively than in the attack. Ivory Coast, however, know how to win a tournament. As the AFCON 2023 champions, again, like a few of the African teams, bar Cape Verde and Ghana, we will get to see them at AFCON this month. We will get to see what they're made of. So not long now till we get to see what they're made of. Germany, they'll be frustrated by these teams, I think. Though frustrated as they may be, they should get a great result against Curaçao and should be able to handle the rest. But Germany went out in the group stage in the last 2 World Cups. The most frustrating of all for them will be Ecuador. I think we'll end up going unbeaten in this group and getting 7 points. draw against Germany, but beat Ivory Coast and Curaçao. Ecuador first, Germany second, Ivory Coast in third, and Curaçao in fourth, but fear the blue wave. I made a video on them recently. You should check it out. Back in my Rabona TV pocket, getting into the history of the nation of Curaçao, etc. In this group, which is a lot of fun, by the way, the first thing that pops out is that Japan and the Netherlands score a ton of goals. Tunisia doesn't concede any goals at all, according to their qualification campaign. They were the first team to ever qualify for the World Cup without conceding a single goal before England went and matched them. And then a mystery in the Path B UEFA winners. That could be Ukraine, Sweden, Poland, or Albania. Could be a debutant there. Whoever comes out of that, I think that they are behind both the Netherlands and Japan. Tunisia is a bit of a wild card. You'll remember they beat France at the 2022 World Cup, even though France rotated their squad, right? But still, they did that. Japan against the Netherlands will be such a fun match as two teams that score a ton of goals. Japan scored 30 in round 3 of qualifying and only conceded 3, and they shared a group with Australia and Saudi Arabia. So they're coming in pretty hot. So I'm actually going to back Japan to finish in first, Netherlands second. I think Tunisia will finish ahead of the UEFA side as well. I don't trust Ukraine, Sweden, Poland, or Albania to finish above Tunisia. Group G, pretty even. Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. Iran has a decent attack. They could get out of this group actually if they don't fumble it again, as they did in 2022, pool to 6, sending them home. So I said this a million times on the stream with BR Football from Friday during the draw. But for me, Belgium are the weakest non-host from pot 1. They were the team that you wanted, besides the hosts probably from pot 1. Decent attacker, sure, but I don't like their defense at all, and I don't back Rudy Garcia at all as a coach. Egypt, they got to convince me at AFCON this month, but I think they are at a very similar level to Iran. And then there's New Zealand, who can be stubborn defensively, who will make themselves really annoying to play against, I'm sure, and then hope to catch a goal in transition or from a set piece. Big man Chris Wood leading the line. So they're here for the first time since 2010. 3 draws. Finished ahead of Italy still. Can't wait for Iran versus Egypt, but I think that it will be Belgium first, even though I don't like it, then Iran, then Egypt, and New Zealand in fourth. In Group H, we have Spain, Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. What makes this one so confusing is that we don't know which Uruguay we're going to get. If we get a unified, everybody on the same page Uruguay, great. They will be a huge threat for how talented they are. If we get the whole maybe rebelling against Bielsa to get him sacked and losing heavily against the USA kind of Uruguay, then things will be very different. Granted, they will surely play for national pride no matter the manager at the World Cup, but they have issues at the moment. Spain, I think they are a lock for the top here. The only thing holding them back for me is major issues to one of their key players, Otherwise, they are a top competitor for this competition at large. Saudi Arabia, watch out. I think they can do something here if Uruguay is in poor condition still. You'll remember what they did with that win over Argentina. Hervé Renard is back, his second time coaching them. Salem Al-Dassari is 34, but still doing his thing with Al Hilal, scored 27 goals last season. Cape Verde, second smallest team, etc., etc. They qualified, but they failed to qualify for AFCON, which is a funny one. We'll see how they do. They qualified at the expense of Cameroon, but as things stand, Spain, Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, and then Cape Verde for me. For me, I think the group of death is this one. Group I, not an original thought. I think many people think the same. I think. France versus Senegal is just so exciting. Of course, we all think of 2002 when they lost to Senegal in the tournament opener. France, we know everything about them, supremely talented, a lot of criticism for Didier Deschamps, and a lot of it is warranted. Ancient tactics, but hey, 2 World Cup finals, a shootout away from making it 2 from 2 after winning it in 2018. It sometimes feels like they make it far in spite of Deschamps, but again, you can't argue with his World Cup record. I can say whatever I want about him and he'll just slam his World Cup record on the table. So Senegal are one of the most talented African sides coming into this, and AFCON will tell us much more about them. as they are now in the post-Aliou Cissé era. They went undefeated in qualifying, finishing 2 points ahead of DR Congo. Mane and Koulibaly are still in the mix, but plenty of young guys like Diouf of West Ham, Ismail Assar, Pape Sarr of Spurs, Nicholas Jackson in the mix, Ibrahim Mbaye of PSG, Assane Diao of Como. Just a really, really talented team. Norway, yes, of course, Haaland versus Mbappe, etc., but Norway shouldn't just be reduced to that, as they have a very good squad behind Haaland, scored more goals than anyone else in qualifying, good defensive record, a coach who played at the 98 World Cup actually, the last one that Norway made, so he knows what this occasion is all about. Then intercontinental path 2 could be Iraq, Suriname, or Bolivia. Bolivia has a decent team. They did well to finish ahead of Venezuela, Peru, and Chile. Mind you, Chile is absolute crap right now, unfortunately, and Peru isn't much better at the moment. So there you have it. Iraq would be a fun team coached by Graham Arnold, former coach of Australia for quite a few World Cups. Anyway, I have France, Norway, Senegal, and then the playoff winner. Whoever that may be. Group J, Jordan ruined the A streak in there, but that's fine. Group J for Jordan, right? With Argentina, Algeria, and Austria, but hey, Jordan won't ruin anything when it comes to goals because they have some nice attacking talent. They finished runners-up in the 2023 AFC Asian Cup to hosts Qatar. They finished runners-up to South Korea in qualifying for this tournament, even getting a nice draw away to them and qualified with a match to spare. Argentina favorites to finish top, but a surprise similar to Saudi could be on hand from any of these teams in this group. You could see Algeria or Austria stealing a result somehow, some way, right? I think second and third could really go to anyone here, with maybe Austria and Algeria as the favorites for second. Algeria are one of the best sides in Africa, and I won't even say it, but you know what I'm going to say. Something AFCON this month. They pretty much cruised through with just one loss in qualifying away to Uganda, my God, to Uganda? What the? I think Ralf Rangnick's organization of Austria will see them through in second, as they had such poor luck in Euro 2024 against Turkey. Remember how that keeper was playing? Unreal. Algeria in third, Jordan in last. But hey, Algeria may get revenge for the disgrace of Gijon. Heard of that? World Cup in Spain, West Germany beat Austria 1-0 so that both teams could advance, as they knew that was enough for both of them to go through, in turn eliminating Algeria. West Germany scored in the 10th minute, then they just cycled around possession with Australia. Absolute farce. Both sides clearly not interested in playing football for the next 80 minutes. Let's see. Would love to see Algeria get their revenge there. Uzbekistan are a tricky team, interested in seeing how they do under Cannavaro, who has a, let's be honest, bad managerial record. Katanec, the coach who got everything in motion, had to step down for health reasons. Then Kapadze finished the job for the final 5 qualifying matches. Then they went with Cannavaro. If DR Congo make it, which is likely, they are a difficult team as well. Respect to New Caledonia, but I don't really know them at all. And Jamaica, they don't have a coach at the moment. Steve McLaren got them here, but then bounced because it's such a poorly run federation. He didn't want to bother anymore. So my bet is on DR Congo to make it through. And honestly, add them to the mix. And it's very competitive in this group. There is no easy match for anyone. Even Portugal is not immune to an absolute stinker now and then, especially in big tournaments where they like to make things more difficult than perhaps they should. Factor in that Colombia had a great qualification campaign and an unreal team. Lucho James Rodriguez, who you know turns up for the national team, playing in his final matches for the national team. Luis Suarez of Sporting, John Cordoba, John Arias, John Duran, all of the Johns involved there. Portugal, they'll be strong for sure. Great midfield, maybe their strongest area of the pitch actually. Strong attack, decent back line that will maybe be get-atable. I think Portugal gets second here. Colombia first, DR Congo third, and Uzbekistan last, simply because of the Cannavaro tax. Okay, last group before the knockout rounds. England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. This is bad for Panama. I think they are getting last place here. This one will be pretty quick, honestly. Ghana are defensive, will try to smack teams on the counter, as I think they don't have the guys in the midfield to play on the front foot, especially against the top two sides. They have Partey in the midfield, yes, but beyond that, England and Croatia will probably dominate the ball and that midfield. Speaking of, Croatia are a World Cup team. never snooze on these guys. You know they will just roll through the tournament somehow, getting some penalty shootout wins as they love to do. Every time I said, okay, this is the end for them in 2022, they just kept on going. I don't know if they can do that again. I mean, their old guys are old, but I think they get second in this group. Panama were smoked by England in 2018, probably in a fight for third with Ghana, but failing, leaving England at the top. Easily the best squad, one of the best coaches in the tournament, didn't concede once in qualifying like Tunisia, won every single match, so yeah, first place. And so I got to pick the best third place teams to round out the round of 32, so I'm going to go with Senegal, Algeria, Scotland, Tunisia, Saudi Arabia, Denmark, Italy, and Turkey. So first up, Ecuador taking on Scotland in Boston. And I think Ecuador frustrate the hell out of Scotland and make their way past them in a tight match to the round of 16. They take on the winner of France and Tunisia, which France is winning and getting revenge for the last time they met and lost to Tunisia. Mexico taking on Canada. Oof. Two host countries, and this one will be in Los Angeles. I mean, that's basically a home game for Mexico with the huge Mexican diaspora there. I hate to say it, but I can see Canada losing that one, unfortunately. Uh-oh. Japan versus Brazil. Japan beat them last time in a friendly in October. They could do it again. This Brazilian side is just too dysfunctional for me. I think Japan wins. Portugal versus Croatia. I see Portugal taking that one as things stand in this moment. I think it would be a terrible match, like a 1-0 or an extra time win. Just don't let it get to a shootout with Croatia. Spain versus Austria. Spain take that one, despite Austria making it difficult, I think. USA taking on UEFA Playoff A, Italy or Wales. I'll say Italy, remember. And I think they lose to the USA. Next would be Belgium taking on Path D from UEFA, which is Denmark in my version of reality. And Denmark beat Belgium. Morocco versus Netherlands. Oof. The Moroccan diaspora of the Netherlands would be loud at this time. And honestly, I could see them beating the Netherlands. But I don't think they will on this occasion. I think the Netherlands will win by a slim margin. Germany versus Norway. Maybe this is buying into some recency bias, but I can see Norway defeating Germany here. South Korea versus Saudi Arabia. I have South Korea winning. England versus Senegal for 2 tournaments in a row. England win this one as well, despite beating them in a friendly, Senegal that is, beating England in a friendly last June. Argentina, Uruguay. Argentina gets the win, and unfortunately I can't trust Iran in this tournament, so I have Paraguay beating them. Almost done this round. Switzerland versus Algeria. Oof, that's a tough one. I'll go with Switzerland getting a slight advantage here due to their defense, and Colombia taking on the Path C team. Turkey in my reality, so Colombia win against Turkey. All right. Round of 16, let's work backwards now. So Switzerland versus Colombia. I just rate this Colombian side so much under Nestor Lorenzo. They were so close to a Copa America win in 2024. So good in qualifying. I say their firepower gets them through. All of the Johns firing, as well as others, they get through. Argentina, Paraguay. Paraguay beat them when they last met in 2024, the first time in 8 years that they did so. I think Argentina takes out Paraguay relatively unconvincingly. South Korea and England, good game, but England wins though. Norway, Netherlands, again, I think Haaland and Norway do well here. I think Haaland and Sorloth boss that back line and make room for guys like Nusa. Norway wins. Denmark versus USA, that's a tough one for USA, playing in Seattle, so again, home advantage, and I think they win again. Denmark are just lacking something at the moment. I don't know what it is about Denmark. They just have me unconvinced. Portugal versus Spain. Portugal beat Spain last they met, and I think they can do it again to make it to the quarterfinals against the US. Mexico and Japan. Japan will end Mexico's run in this tournament, while France will be frustrated by Ecuador, but France will ultimately win. Quarters. France and Japan. As much as I want Japan to keep going, I think France takes it here. Portugal versus USA. I mean, they have a friendly in March, I believe, so we'll see which one is stronger at the moment, but Portugal should have the quality to defeat the USA, as difficult and pesky as I think the States will be, especially with that home advantage. Norway versus England. I think this is the end for Haaland and the fellas. England to make it through. And Argentina versus Colombia. Now, before beating them in extra time in 2024 Copa America final, Argentina were winless in 3 attempts against Colombia. However, I think Colombia, with their Argentine coach, get revenge and knock the holders out. Colombia through. So in semifinal number 1, we have England and Colombia. And while I've been big on Colombia in this tournament, I think England wins this one. I've just been bigger on England. They're just too good across the park, so well coached, really good team. England to the World Cup final. France versus Portugal in the other semifinal. Damn, man. Okay. Looking at this as unbiased as possible, Portugal had the better chances against France in Euro 2024 before losing in the shootout. Euro 2016 was the first time Portugal beat France in 11 attempts. Things have been closer recently. I don't like either coach really, Martinez or Deschamps. If you look at France in the Nations League and their qualifying run, they had difficulties with Iceland. Portugal lost to Ireland recently. This is a coin flip. Is this a jinx or an anti-jinx? I'll go with France based on their attacking firepower of the likes of Mbappe, Ekitike, Olise, Thuram, Manu Kone in the midfield I really like, Saliba in that back line with Upamecano who's playing really well. So France through to the final. So the final would be a classic, England versus France, rematch of the quarterfinals from 2022. And as I have been saying all along, I think this England side is just too good. And I have them winning. Kane in form, Foden in form again, Bellingham, Eze, Saka, Gordon, Anderson in the midfield, Rice, a great back line that didn't concede, remember. England win for the first time in 60 years, and it's coming home. Was that a jinx? Was it? I mean, you tell me, but also go ahead and have some fun with a predictor linked below. Huge video. Thank you for watching though, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you for more World Cup and club content soon. Take care.